What's going on, family? It's your boy P.O.P. That's right. Listen and welcome. We here at the Creative Lounge having creative conversations. Now, let me tell you, if you're new to this channel, if you're new to this show, what I do on this show is I get some phenomenal guests from all different industries, and they're teaching you how they are able to help you level up your business, your brand, help you to make some money, and help you to do it in a creative way, right? And so what we're going to be doing today, or the conversation that we're going to be having today, I'm looking forward to it because I know that I'm going to learn something while you're learning it. So I got my brother Liandry. He is a credit repair specialist, but also it's a little bit of twist on what he does. Like, there's a reason why he helps you to repair your credit, because that's only a one move and a bigger chess play that he's going to teach you and break out in this episode. So if you're ready to learn the fundamentals on how you can repair your credit, but also how you can leverage it in order to become your own bank, you could definitely want to tap in. All right, let's get to the show. Leandry, what's going on, my guy?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great, man. Listen, first and foremost, thank you so very much for your time. I'm looking forward to this conversation, man. I know that I'm going to learn a whole lot because we were talking offline, and I'm really excited to get into this conversation. So the first thing that we do here at on Creative Conversations, we do something called It's Random. Okay, so it's random. I don't want you to be nervous about it, but what we do is I ask you 5 random questions. Okay, five
Yeah.
random questions. There's no right or wrong answers. All right, whatever the first thing that comes to your mind, I want you to go ahead and share it. Right, and yeah, have some fun with it. All right, so you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first question, I'm gonna throw you a softball here. All right, we're gonna do an easy one. The first question that I have for you: what is your favorite cereal of all time?
Honey Nut Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios.
I ate that straight for 3 years.
Is that right?
Yeah.
that's what, that's what's
It was
up.
convenient.
Listen, hey man, and here's the thing about it. It's classic, right? It's fulfilling, right? Why not? Why not? I personally am a fan too. So there you go. You already, you starting off right. All right, here we go. Number 2, is there a quote that you have come across in your journey that has changed your perspective or mindset?
Most people try to go places fast, but it's not about the speed, it's about the direction. That quote
Mm-mm.
changed my life.
Mm. Because you could be going fast in the wrong direction.
Yep.
And that just means wow, okay, yes. It's not about the speed, it's about the direction. I love that. That's a bar. Okay, all right, good. Number three. Is there a book that you read that, let me say this. What is your favorite book?
The magic of thinking big.
The Magic of Thinking. Why?
Because, you know, before I was a probation officer and I only thought of helping people in a small way, which is, through law enforcement.
Yeah.
I went to school for that. But I read that book and I was like, yo, I could be doing so much more. And that's how, I've become so successful because I think everything big. Everything I want to do now
Wow.
to help people is just how can we, do it 10 times bigger?
Wow. The power of thinking big. Oh, yeah, that's good. Okay. Go. Listen, you knocking these out the park. All right. Number four. What is your favorite TV show of all time?
Blue Bloods.
Blue makes sense. That
Yeah, I was in law enforcement, so I
that,
always loved that show.
that makes sense. That makes sense. All right, good. Number 5. One piece of advice. What is one piece of advice that you would give to your 16-year-old self?
The person you are with right now is going to change your life. So I've been with my girlfriend, now wife, for years. I've been with her since
Wow.
I was 15. So
Wow.
we, most of a decade together.
Yeah.
And I, to my 16-year self, we went through some stuff,
Yeah.
but I just want to tell him, just trust me, trust the process. This person is going to
Yeah.
be amazing. They're going to help you change lives. So just be patient.
I love that, man. And just like that, you've graduated from Miss Random, my guy. Appreciate you, man. You passed with flying colors, man. So let's get into your story, Leandry. So, like, I find it interesting that you're in the space that you're in right now, coming from law enforcement, right? So that at the surface is a drastic, it is a drastic
Yeah.
difference, right? So I would definitely love to know how it is that you went from correction officer to now teaching people how to be not only financially free through credit repair and through infinite banking, which you'll tap on. What was that transition like, and why did you decide to go from law enforcement to where you are now?
So I was in law enforcement for a while, but before that, when I was 17, I had brain surgery.
Really?
So I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't do anything. I was told I was gonna die. And that's why I joined law enforcement, because I always, my mom says you came out the womb, pointing like a gun, because I was, ready to,
Yeah.
I want to be FBI. I want to, do cool things. So I joined law
Wow.
enforcement to help those who can help themselves. You know,
Mm.
I was lucky enough to have my mother, my wife now, my grandfather, that they pushed me to always want to help people.
I love that.
So when I joined law enforcement, I was a probation officer. So basically, what I would do is, I'll make sure people are following the rules. But a lot of my caseload was people who had issues with finances. I had a
Huh.
client. She had two boys, two 13-year-olds,
Okay.
and she named them after malls in New York, QCM and Woodbury Common, because she would have them steal at the malls,
What?
and then they will pawn off whatever they stole. And that's how they
Wow.
survived and lived in her van. So, I would see stories like that. And those two little boys, when I bought them lunch,
Okay. Yeah.
and it broke my heart hearing their story, how they don't have anything that they steal. And it's like, I cried.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's when, luckily I was always, in the field of networking. So I met this person who just told me, like, hey, I also did this, but now I'm doing finance. Because he
Hmm.
was like, because I have a question for you. What do you think is the biggest stress/struggle faced around the world?
Oh, it's finances, hands down.
So he asked me that same question, and he was like, "You want to make a difference?" And I was like, "Of course," because
Mm.
clearly what I'm doing isn't enough.
Yeah.
You know, I have people that just struggled, and I was like, if I can help them before they get to this point, then I can make the true difference. So that's how
Yeah.
I was able to leave my job as a probation officer and do this, and be able to change lives.
Man, oh man, bro. It's always interesting to me to hear the backstory because it's always interesting the way that you like other guests that I've had. It's the same thing. It's like they never really intended to be where they are, but it's some situation, right? Some fluke situation happens and changes the course and the trajectory of where they were to where it is that they are now. But it always stems from somewhere, and that is powerful. So you having the experience with that client or your clients at the time and saying like, yo, like their biggest challenges are financial. So the reason why they're in the situation that they're in is because they was trying to get some money to either for whatever the situation is. And
A
for this
hundred
client
percent.
that you talked about, she had two kids that she had to feed, so they had to survive, literally had to survive. And so if her financial situation was different, that wouldn't even be an option. So the kids
Yeah.
wouldn't be put in that situation where they are now introduced to a life of crime to try to survive. So now, so that is wow, that's mind blowing. So now, here's what's interesting about what you're doing, though. So you help people repair their credit, but you also teach them how to become their own bank. How do those two connect?
So originally, I saw that people were struggling to get loans, to be able to put down
Mm.
payments on houses, to get cars and whatnot. So to the same people that I've met, I will always fix their credit. So I will work with real estate agents. I will work with different bankers, and they'll tell me like, hey, this person needs credit repair. They can't get a down payment on a home. So basically, I would just fix the credit.
Mm-hmm.
But then I noticed that through infinite banking, you can become your own bank and borrow from yourself. So the way this is possible is
Mm.
because let's say you fix your credit, right? Now you
Yeah.
qualify for the home. If you have an infinite banking, system, which is a high cash value life insurance, which you overfund, if you use a whole life, you can borrow from yourself after 30 days. If you use
Okay.
a index universal life, you can borrow from yourself after, ideally 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
So what I would teach people is qualify for the home and then borrow against from yourself, because with a lot a high cash value life insurance, you don't have to pay it back.
Wow.
So
Got you.
basically, a trick I show people is, let's say you go get funding, right?
Yeah.
You would dump that money into your policy,
Okay.
and then you can use that to buy an asset because you don't have to pay it back. Because what I would teach people is, for example, let's say you go to Chase, KeyBank, and Truist, right?
Yeah.
And let's say you get anywhere from 10 to 20,000.
Okay.
A trick I recommend people doing is use the credit cards to buy the asset, use your policy to pay off the cards, and now you collect the points off your credit card too. So your money just worked
Mm.
3 times.
Yo, that's crazy. So, oh my gosh. So you get the funding.
Hmm.
You said you get the funding. You then dump that into your policy.
Policy. That's the first method. Yeah.
That's the first method, and then you use your credit card to pay for the asset. So whatever that is, right? Whatever the asset is, and then you use the money from you borrow against the policy, the money that you
Hmm.
already dumped in there to pay off the credit card, and you
Because
able. Go ahead.
for example, just so I can explain a little better. Let's say I teach people my funding sequence, right? I'll tell
Yeah.
people I'll go to Key Bank, I'll go to Citizens Bank, Chase, and then what I will do is I will buy the asset. Like for example, I did an Airbnb play with the credit cards,
Okay.
where I paid for the Airbnb through my credit cards. But then after I used my credit cards, I used the money that was already in my policy to pay off the credit cards. So I collected all the points from the credit cards, and my balance is now at zero with the credit card. So now I could use it again.
Yeah. Ooh. And that is reporting incredibly on your credit history as well.
It looks amazing because you can use
Oh.
infinite banking for multiple things. Like for example, I just had a son, my newborn.
Oh man, congratulations, man.
Thank you. He's going to college for free. He has a policy of $1 million, but this is the trick, right? Because the basis of everything is credit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna still take out a loan on his name, like student loans, right?
Yeah.
But I'm gonna use his policy to pay off the student loans, so his credit still looks amazing as if he paid all his student loans. So he'll have
Mm.
an 800 credit score by the time he's already, 18, 19.
Setting. So a this is not just a cash right now play. This is you're talking longevity. You're talking a legacy play.
Of course,
So
because
go ahead.
go ahead, go
No,
ahead.
go ahead. No, do your thing.
Because a lot of people are passing down generational poverty, not generational wealth.
Ooh. Okay, hold on. Oh, I don't even have my thing. I don't even have my note. We we do something here or creative conversations. It's called no bar hopping, right? So you
Hmm.
can't drop a bar and then hop over that thing like you just say like you ain't just say something deep. So wait, say that again. Most people are passing down what?
Generational poverty, not
Yo,
generational wealth.
sheesh. Break that down, please.
So, and I love my parents. I love my whole family, but I ask them like, what are you passing down to me?
Yeah.
And
Ooh.
you know, because my grandfather was a wealthy man. He ran buildings in New York,
Okay.
but unfortunately, he blew the money out. Amazing
Mm.
person, but he wasn't taught finance, so I don't
Yeah.
blame him.
Yeah.
But it's like, and I always tell him like, damn, if Grandpa would have been smart, I would have had the buildings, I would have been wealthy, I wouldn't have to work. So it's like a lot of people are passing down things like that.
Yeah.
Like for example, we had one client. that he left debt to his children of $100,000, and they were just 21,
Yeah, yeah,
21 and 24,
yeah,
and I was like, damn, he couldn't leave $100,000 for them to use to buy assets. Instead, he left them so they could pay it off for him.
yeah,
And it's things like that that's like with credit repair and infinite banking. When you combine the both, you can leave a legacy for your child, or
yeah.
for generations to come. Because have you heard the Rockefellers?
Of course. Yep.
They're still one of the wealthiest families, just
I
because they
believe it.
passed down generations and generations of wealth. And that's why I tell people, like, this is a long play. There's a way to do the fast. Like, there's
Yeah,
ways you can run a play in 30 days, but ideally, I want to leave millions to my grandchildren, to my great great grandchildren. I want to change lives,
yeah.
even when I'm not here.
I feel that. I feel that. Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I think that's an important thing to mention, and I'm glad that you brought it up because I think it comes down to the fact that a lot of people just aren't educated, man. It's like they just don't have the information. Like to the point of your grandfather. Like if he had the education, what he could have been able to do with the wealth that he acquired, you know what I'm saying, would have been as far as generationally that would have continued to compound over and over and over and over and over again. It's something you pass it to you and you pass it to your son and so on and so forth. So so as far as the education is concerned, and I would imagine this is why you're so passionate about what you do. So for someone who doesn't know anything about infinite banking, right? Or might say, well, isn't life insurance life insurance? Like you always hear term, you always hear whole life. Not often the joint that you the policy that you just mentioned. Maybe I'm hearing it for the first time, so I'm sure there's somebody on here that's hearing it for the first time. So can you break down a little bit what's the differences between the whole life term bubbles, whole life term, and the infinite banking policy that you're talking about?
Got it. So through infinite banking, you can use two policies, which is one, the index universal life, which
Okay.
mirrors the market, the stock market. So for example, if the market does 12%, you do 12%. But if it
Mm.
does negative 12%, you're guaranteed to never lose a single dime.
Wow.
So, like 2008, the market did negative 37%.
Yeah.
The IUL did 0.75%, which
What?
isn't the greatest return, but
Yeah.
isn't it better than losing your money?
100% it is.
So with the index universal life, it's what it does. It mirrors the market. It's still a life insurance policy,
Okay.
but it has a savings component
Okay.
where the premiums you pay into it goes into your cash value and to your face value. So it
Got it.
grows. And then with a whole life, it's more of like a guaranteed amount. But for example, you can borrow from a whole life because it's already fixed. You're at a fixed rate,
Mm-hmm.
so it does anywhere from 4 to 5%. So you can borrow from this policy even faster because you're guaranteed an amount of money. With
Got
an
you.
IUL, you're not guaranteed because it grows every single year with the market.
Got you. Okay.
So
Okay.
it ranges anywhere, from 0.75 to goes up to 13%. Right now it's
Okay.
doing 8.04.
Okay.
So you have to wait a year or two to see how much you've acquired in cash value. But with the whole life, you already know what you're gonna have because they'll guarantee you that amount because you're
Yes. Got
paying
you.
for that certain amount.
Got you.
And then with term, it's just it's a temporary policy. Usually, because people always say, I heard this yesterday. Life insurance is only for the wealthy,
What?
and I'm like, I know people who not wealthy and they got life insurance because for the price of a Starbucks, coffee, you can get insurance.
Yeah.
I've gotten people insurance for $18 a month, and that's your
Really?
term. So it doesn't have any benefits,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
But it still protects you. So you can do anywhere from 5, 10, 20, or 30 years, and just for $18 or maybe less, depending on your situation, you will have coverage. You don't have to put, $300-$400. I
Yeah.
heard one lady told me, I can't afford $1,000. I'm not telling you to put $1,000 in there.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So, that's the difference. And with the whole life and the IUL, you can borrow against it.
Okay.
And you can use it. For example, I'm buying a home and I'm using my policy to buy a home.
That's dope.
I'm not dropping a single dime in my pocket. I'm
Yeah.
taking a loan against my policy to put a down payment on the home, because you can borrow from that cash value and not have to pay it back, because at the end of the day is your money. It
Yeah.
gets subtracted from the overall face value, which is how much you get if something happens to you.
Yeah.
So I do tell people, pay it back so you can run another play.
Yeah. Yes. 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 I got it. Okay. Thank you for breaking down those differences. So when you are in all of these things, so well, let me ask you this: as far as your asset portfolio, do you personally diversify? So do you have it's a say again? It's a U. What is it? What's the
An
terminology?
IUL, Index Universal Life.
IUL. So you have you have an IUL policy. Now, do you also do whole life? Do you also do term, or is everything in the IUL?
I do all three, but
Okay,
I prefer the IUL because the interest it collects is much higher than the whole life.
got you.
Because with the whole life, like for example, I tell people, be smart with what you have, because you can get a
Yes, that's what.
policy and design it for what you want to do with it. Like for
Okay,
example, I help clients, this basically set up the IUL or whole life policy if they want to start a business, if
okay,
they want to put a down payment in a home, if they want to buy a car, because everything is the way you design it. Meaning, if you want your value to keep growing over the years, or if you just want a guaranteed value,
yeah.
and that money you can borrow from me after 30 days and here. Because I helped a person actually 2 days ago set up his policy so he could start a turtle business. Because he was like,
Wow.
listen, my credit is crap.
Yeah,
I can't, because I was fixing his credit. I can't afford, to a down payment. I can't really do a loan. So I told him, okay, let's set it up so you can get your whole life policy. And instead of you borrowing from the bank, you could borrow from yourself.
got you. Ooh, it's always fascinating to me, and what's fascinating to me is particularly in our community, right? We don't get access to this information, but this is not new. Like, this is what people have been doing forever. And we tend to kind of get the information a little later, but nonetheless, it's good that we're getting the information. But knowing that such a powerful asset, or such a powerful yeah, I'm gonna say asset, right? A resource. Let me say that way. Such a powerful resource is available, right? That's mind blowing. So if I'm a client and I'm like, listen, Liandry, listen, man, I got 3 kids, man. I'm living, you know what I'm saying? I don't have enough money at the end of my month, right? I got more month than money consistently, right? And so I know I need to get some insurance. I know I like what you're talking about with the IUL. Like, that sounds phenomenal to me. My credit is jacked up as well because of all of this life in, right? How
Yeah.
like what could you do? So firstly, I can't afford none of this, man. Like, so if I'm coming to you and that's my scenario, what are you what's you going to what is the process that you would take me through, or what would you inform me or instruct me to do?
So first things first, I will have an initial meeting with the person, with the client, and I would love to know, what are their goals, what is your current situation, because I'm a licensed financial coach, so I can help a family build generational wealth in 15 different ways, and
Mm,
one of them is budgeting.
yeah.
So I will do a budget with you, and I hate when people say, I don't have money, I can afford this. Like, because I had one guy, he just bought seats to go see the Lakers versus the Knicks.
What? Oh,
And
okay. Yeah.
yeah, I,
Yeah.
I let him
Yeah.
rock. But I was like, you have money. And a lot of
Yeah.
people, I would look through your budget. So I sent him a budget sheet, and then I'll give him about 2 days to fill it out. And then after our follow-up meeting, I'll be like, okay, I'll run it through my system. I will see what is the best plan for you.
Okay.
Because, for example, let's say you, for example, right? You tell me you have 2 kids, you only work one job, you're paying everything yourself, what I would do is out of your budget sheet, I would take it back and I would suggest to say, let's say you truly have no money.
Yeah.
I would suggest you getting a term, but
Okay.
there's different types of terms. There's a thing called a term LB, which is a term with living benefits, meaning that you can't exactly borrow from it, but there's ways you can use it so that way you can have money in your pocket.
Wait, hold on.
So there's benefits for everybody, even the poor, which I don't like using that term because no
Yeah.
one's truly poor. You just make poor decisions.
Oh, come on, man. Talk on it. That's another bar, man. You know, you're not poor. You just make poor decisions. Yo, that is a bar. Hold on a second. So you're telling me that there's a certain type of term life insurance that have life benefits to it?
Yeah. So it's a way where you will still get, for example, let's say you have a stroke,
Yeah.
heart attack, kidney failure. There's ways that you can still use it to protect yourself and have that money. Like for example, I had a client who had a heart attack
Okay.
and he survived. The company sent him a check of $500,000, and guess what? He used that money to get into real estate. He bought a bunch of
Yo,
multi-family homes because
what?
the regular term would just give you when you pass.
Yeah.
But with the term LB, living benefits, you will get the benefits and you'll be able to use that money.
Y'all listen up to what this man is saying, and listen up to what he's saying. Leandry, I'm telling you, I had no idea. And I've talked to people who are, you know what I'm saying, licensed financial, planners and things. Like when I tell you I've never heard, they say the same thing. Term life insurance is term life insurance. There's no benefits, blah, 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 blah. Like, but I never knew that there was, I never knew this. So this is news to me. Okay. So go ahead. Continue.
So ideally, after we have your budget sheet, I'll see what you can afford because I'm not gonna give you something you can afford. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna set you up to, like I said earlier, for poverty. I'm gonna set you up so you can pass down wealth.
Yeah. Right.
Because even people, I had one person tell me, I only work part time. I can't do this. I ran the numbers and I told her, for $100, I saw her budget. She
Yeah.
had a spare $400. And I was like, how about this? For $100, I can get you a policy and you still get to keep $300 to do your thing.
Mm.
So there's always a way around it. And this is why, I work with a team of people that are just amazing.
Yeah.
That they would, for example, like if I can't do it, if I can't find something, I'll tell people like, hey, help me out.
Yeah.
And we'll just trade ideas and we'll look at it because I have a sheet, right? That basically tells me in a situation, let's say this person is 23 years old, they make this much, I have it planned out already. Wow, how I can help you.
Dope. Oh man. Okay. Good. So you have, so basically you're saying that there's really no excuse. So
There is
so you can get into if you don't have the money, so to speak, right? If you're thinking to yourself right now, I don't have the money. Leandry's telling you, no, you do, right? Somehow, some way, you can at least get a term life insurance that has some life benefits. God forbid something was to happen, heart attack or stroke or something like that. The company's still going to send you the money for you to be able to cover whatever expenses that you have, right? That which is a burden off of your family because they'll already be burdened already. You know what I mean? Having
Yep.
to support you in that particular state. So now, when you're talking about infinite banking, you talking about this, you're talking about this policy that you can guarantees returns based upon the stock market, right? That you could borrow against right away, that is continuing to accumulate in value, right? Probably, and to your point, way faster than any other policy that you would actually invest in.
Yep.
That sounds expensive to me, Leandro. I'm gonna be honest with you. That sounds real. That sounds expensive. Okay. In order to get my foot into something like that, explain to me what the process is and what's some of the costs that come along with that.
You mean to do what I do, or is it just get a policy yourself?
Oh, so I mean, well, for both. So if it were, yeah, actually, yeah, let's go from both because I want to be able to know the benefit of going your direction than me trying to figure this thing out by myself. So as far as like, and when I'm talking about cost, what I'm talking about is like to hear all the benefits of what this particular policy can do. I know it's not going to cost me $18 a month. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to kind of get an understanding of what is my investment or what would it because I'm not even going to say investment because not everybody says investment. People will say what will it cost me, right? And of course that wording is based upon your mindset, right? Being looking at cost as opposed to an investment in yourself. But nonetheless, we're going to leave that alone. What would something like that cost me on a monthly basis, or is it a quarterly basis? Is it an annual basis? Like, what would something like that? What would I have to pay in order to be able to get access to this policy that sounds amazing?
So we have three options, which is the monthly, the quarterly, and the annually.
Okay.
So basically, what I tell people is, let's be smart. People do taxes.
Mm-hmm.
I love tax season because that's when I get to help the most families because they'll tell me I can't afford it. You just got tax credit. You got that nice tax check in the mail. So what I'll do is I'll have people do annually, an annual plan during tax season.
Okay.
I'm gonna be realistic with you. Anybody above, let's say 25,
Mm-hmm.
I suggest you put anywhere from 200 to 250 a month.
Okay.
If you're 18 to like 24, anything from 100 to 150. But if you have a kid, for $50, you can do a lot for your kid.
Got you.
So
Yeah.
it depends on the age range because at the end of the day, it is a life insurance. So there is an underwriting process.
Sure.
So I do have, I do not suggest, but I do have the amount that I think would benefit you the most because you can put a little bit, but it won't grow. What's the point of it?
Facts.
Like, I had one lady told me, "Can I put $20 a month?" I looked at her, and I don't know if she was serious or if she was
Yeah.
playing with me.
Yeah.
But she was serious, and it's like
Wow.
no, because it's never gonna grow.
Feel that.
So for certain ages, the underwriters are gonna say yes, no. So you do have to be approved, and that's
Okay.
another thing. Because people always say, "Oh, I have bad health. I don't qualify." I don't want to hear it. I had brain surgery. I could
Yeah.
not do anything, and I got approved.
Wow.
And guess what?
Huh.
I work with over what is it? Over 100 companies. That if one doesn't approve you, I can apply to the other 99.
Facts. Okay. Got you. So
So that's the process for that.
so ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't kind of tapped into his process, so I love your process because it's very much so it makes sense to me. That's why I love it because it makes sense. You're not just throwing people into a policy or hyping them up like, oh, you can get this amount of money and you could do this, like, because oftentimes when you come across people who are trying to sell you something, right, for their benefit, they're only telling you the benefits, but they're not telling you the backside, right? They're telling you what things could look like, and they are really kind of hyping up the front end, but they're not teaching you or even showing you, pulling back the curtain and see what it takes on the back end. And what you're saying is that where you are most interested in the person that you're working with success. So you're not going to just say, hey, just do this. I want a budget. I want to know exactly what you have coming in. I want to see where there's gaps in your finances. I want to see where you're spending money where you really shouldn't be spending money, at least not right now,
Yep.
right? And then you're based upon that empirical data, Then you can say, okay, we can allocate this amount of money in specifics to you investing in this vehicle over here, this life insurance policy over here, that's going to take that money that you investing, right, and be able to grow it at a much faster rate than any other vehicle that you could potentially go in. And I love the fact that you're taking your time and walking people through that process, because, and this is why I asked you the questions, because for someone from the outside looking in, automatically, if they just hear what it is that you're doing or hearing the benefits of this, they're like, oh, I can't afford that. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't something that I can do. You know what I mean? And so automatically our brain will shut down and go into survival mode and not even explore this resource that can literally, like you said, build wealth for us now, and also generational wealth. So that is such a powerful. I'm glad that you walked us through your process. So here's what I want to do as we land this plane, and you've given a lot of great information, bro. Tell people how they can reach you, how they can connect with you. Let them know all of that right now, bro.
So you can see me. You can meet me at Instagram at Leandry Enterprises.
Okay.
And you can also go to my website, leandrysuarezenterprises.com, where you would just submit a form. Well, I ask you some preliminary questions like, email, phone number, and my team will contact you in 24 hours. I will send you my calendar schedule, and you just put yourself on my schedule, and it is about 30 minutes to an hour. And the first meeting is free, where we just go over your plan, what are your goals. So those are the two ways you can find me: through Instagram, Leandry Suarez Enterprises, or through my website, leandrysuarezenterprises.com.
That's what's up, bro. So listen, y'all can set up a free 30 to hour call, 30-minute to 60-minute call with either Leandry or someone on his team to begin to work through what you could possibly do to not pass down poverty to your family, but to pass down wealth. And I have to give you your flowers, bro, because what you're doing, the information, the education that you're giving people is transformative, right? And the way that you're doing it by using credit repair in order to get people in a locked into a financial discipline, so that this way, when they actually get this policy and they start getting this revenue coming in, then their minds have already been conditioned and disciplined to do with it that which is only going to appreciate and add value. So what you're not just teaching people how to make money, you're teaching people how to literally change their lifestyle so they can live wealthy. And that is absolutely needed, particularly in our community. So I want to salute you and give you your flowers for what it is, for the work that you're doing, man. And you being courageous enough to leave, leave law enforcement, which is a good situation. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that stay for 30, 40 years and retired pension and all of that. Like, you decided to take this leap of faith because you saw a need to service and to help people on a deeper level. And you're doing this, just that, brother. So I salute you and your team for doing the work, man. So thank you again, brother. I truly appreciate you hopping in. Listen, y'all, tap in with my guy. So you guys, so don't allow any of these excuses that you don't have the money, that you can't afford it, that you because you had some health challenges before. He said that if he works with 100 banks, or excuse me, 100 institutions, if one of them say no, he got 99 more that he can tap into.
I will say yes.
You know what I'm saying? And so, bro, thank you again, man. Truly appreciate you. And man, we gonna have to do this again, my bro.
Sounds great. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Blessings to you and to your wife, to your newborn, man. Y'all be blessed and enjoy your holiday season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, my bro. So listen, there it is. I told you we were gonna have another phenomenal episode. Okay? And phenomenal episode is what we had. What I love about this conversation is that we're not just talking about making money. We're not talking about a quick buck. We're not just talking about a monetary or quick wins. What Leandry is setting and his team is doing is setting you up to be able to live like you deserve to live, not in survival mode, but being able to thrive and leverage that to be able to also put your family in position to do the same. And I don't know if you're a parent or if you have nieces or nephews or just people that are depending on you in some way, shape, or form. Don't you want their lives to be even better than yours? Even now, not even when you leave here, but even now, right? So don't wait, don't hesitate, don't take your time and the breath that you have for granted. Let's make sure that we're using the time that we've been granted and given to invest it in things that are going to help us to elevate, not just for us, but for everybody else who's associated with us. All right. So this has been another episode of Kre8tive Konversations. And hopefully you got a creative way that you took some gems that are going to help you to create a way of create wealth for yourself creatively. And Leandry can help you do it. All right. So to the next episode, I'm going to see y'all. Love y'all to absolute life. And there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.